Good morning, everyone. Bonjour à tous et à toutes, et merci d'être ici. 3 years ago, I decided to run for mayor because I was concerned about the future of our city. I heard from residents throughout Ottawa about their worries and anxieties. They wanted Ottawa to be safer, more reliable, and more affordable. J'ai entendu des résidents exprimer leurs préoccupations concernant la hausse du coût du logement. I heard from residents who were worried about the rising cost of housing. I heard from home builders who were frustrated by all the red tape at City Hall. A few weeks ago, we launched our Housing Action Plan with 53 initiatives to reduce fees and approval times and start saying yes to housing. It's been called the most ambitious municipal housing plan in Canada. J'ai entendu des résidents qui n'arrivaient pas à trouver un médecin de famille. I heard from residents who couldn't find a family doctor. And even though that's not a municipal responsibility, we recently launched our Primary Care Action Plan. In the weeks ahead, we'll be talking more about how we'll recruit and retain more family doctors. I heard from residents who felt we weren't doing enough to support the most vulnerable. That's why we've significantly increased funding for food security and other community programs. And that's why, a few weeks ago, I pledged to end youth homelessness in Ottawa by 2030. Today, I want to focus on another area of concern I heard repeatedly when speaking with residents during the 2022 election campaign: public safety. I spoke to residents in Barrhaven and Canada who had their cars stolen out of their driveways. I heard from many people who were worried about street racing. I heard significant concerns about safety downtown and in the Byward Market. J'ai entendu des préoccupations concernant la sécurité au centre-ville et au marché Bay. I spoke to a couple who was worried about their teenage son coming home late at night from his part-time job. I heard deep concerns about the harm of toxic drugs and the growing safety issues they cause in an increasing number of neighborhoods. And I heard from families who were worried that when they needed an ambulance for a loved one, there wouldn't be one available. The number of level 0 events when no ambulances were available anywhere in our city was unacceptable. It was clear in 2022 that people were losing faith in basic municipal services, and our policing and emergency response efforts were under-resourced and falling short of expectations. I heard those concerns in every part of Ottawa. I ran for mayor because I believed things could be better. I believed that if we worked together, we could respond to the issues that residents and small business owners had raised. I believed we could significantly improve public safety in Ottawa. Je croyais que nous pouvions améliorer la sécurité publique à Ottawa. Je suis heureux de dire que nous faisons du progrès. I'm pleased to say we are making progress. In this term of council, we've hired 70 more police officers and 141 additional paramedic staff. The number of level 0 events is down almost 80% since last year. The number of visitors to the Byward Market has risen 50%. We're making progress, but we still have a lot of work to do. We need to do more to ensure that residents are safe and feel safe in their homes and throughout the community. Today, I'm joined by Chief Eric Stubbs of the Ottawa Police Service, Chief Paul Hutt of the Ottawa Fire Service, and Chief Pierre Poirier of the Ottawa Paramedic Service. Together with key leaders in the community, we are presenting Ottawa's Public Safety Action Plan. This plan is grounded in one strong belief, that there is nothing more important than the safety of our residents. Le plan repose sur une conviction forte. Rien n'est plus important que la sécurité de nos résidents. Our goal is to ensure emergency services are available whenever residents need them. Our goal is to make Ottawa safer for everyone. This plan brings into focus the actions and investments we're making to improve public safety in Ottawa, many of which are in the 2026 budget that is currently being considered by Council. I want to take a moment to recognize and thank the city's police officers and special constables, firefighters, paramedics, emergency service staff, and community leaders for the work they do every day. Our frontline emergency responders serve our community with courage and integrity. Nos intervenants d'urgence de première ligne servent notre communauté avec courage et intégrité. They do difficult work, and they do it incredibly well, and we are so grateful to them. Just this week, I met some amazing paramedics who are receiving awards honoring their bravery and selflessness. I've had the privilege of celebrating police officers and firefighters who do incredible work to keep us safe day in and day out. To all our emergency workers, thank you for everything you do. The Public Safety Action Plan recognizes the need to support our first responders, and it recognizes the fact that we need to hire more of them. But it also makes room for new approaches to support the community. One of those new approaches is the Alternate Neighborhood Crisis Response Program, or ANCHOR. The program relieves the burden placed on police, firefighters, and paramedics to respond to non-emergency situations, and it delivers a more acute mental health and outreach service on the ground. In its first year in Centertown, the ANCHOR program answered almost 4,500 calls, 93% of which were handled without police intervention. The feedback from community partners has been overwhelmingly positive. We heard from a resident in Centertown who saw a woman in distress and called ANCHOR. She said, "I was glad I could get her some professional help without involving the police or ambulance. After all, she wasn't committing a crime and didn't seem to require an ambulance. She still needed help, though. This fills an important gap." I'm pleased to say we will be expanding ANCHOR beyond the pilot project in Centertown. The 2026 budget includes an investment of $700,000 to launch ANCHOR in another part of the city. And we'll continue to work together to expand the program even further in the future. Nous continuerons à travailler ensemble pour développer encore davantage ce programme à l'avenir. I'm grateful to have Suzanne Obiora from the Somerset West Community Health Center here today, and she'll be speaking in a few minutes. I also want to recognize our other ANCHOR partners, including Michelle Herchubis from the Centertown Community Health Center and John Hoyles from 211 Eastern Ontario. They and their teams are playing such an important role in making this initiative a success. The 2026 budget also includes a historic investment to hire more first responders than ever before. In fact, the budget includes one of the largest increases in funding for the Ottawa Police Service in the city's history. Le budget comprend l'une des plus grandes augmentations de financement de l'histoire du service de police d'Ottawa. This new funding includes the hiring of 21 new police officers and 4 special constables, bringing the number of new police hires this term of council to 70. But the budget addresses not just more hiring, but new and enhanced methods of policing, including the Neighborhood Operations Center serving the Byward Market, which has led to a noticeable improvement to public safety in the area. A mounted police unit for crowd control and demonstrations at major events. The new district and community policing strategy that will see more police officers present in all neighborhoods, including in rural Ottawa. The new South facility in Barrhaven, which will ensure we're serving all parts of the city more effectively. More community outreach response and engagement teams deployed in high crime areas in the downtown core. And the mobile crisis response team, which pairs a specially trained police officer from the OPS mental health unit with a mental health professional to offer on-scene support, de-escalation, and connections to community services. In a recent letter, the Hintonburg Community Association spoke of the success of the district policing model in the past and praised the fact that it's returning. Here's a quote from that letter. "The HCA has worked very closely with the OPS since the early 1990s. We experienced how efficient and effective the district model was at reducing issues in our community at that time. Calls for service were reduced, and because the officers knew the area, they were able to intervene early and prevent mental health issues, vandalism, drug-related crime, and other issues from escalating. We trust that the implementation of the changes proposed in the 2026 budget will strengthen our relationship with the OPS and help address our community's crime and safety concerns." Thank you to the Hintonburg Community Association for that message. I know there are some people who have said that the police budget increase is too much, that we should be freezing or cutting our investment in policing. But that's not what I hear from the vast majority of residents that I've spoken to. Through these historic investments and the programs they support, we will work toward making every resident feel safe day and night in their homes and throughout the community. And I'm confident that Chief Stubbs and the members of the OPS will deliver on that objective. We will also be working with the chief and his team on a multi-year funding strategy to ensure the police have the resources they need, not just in 2026, but in the years ahead. I'm just as confident in Paramedic Chief Pierre Poirier and his team, who are doing a great job in improving response times. Over the past 3 years, we've hired more paramedics, and we've worked hard to reduce the offload delays in hospital emergency rooms. Au cours des 3 dernières années, nous avons embauché davantage de paramédics et travaillé activement à réduire les délais de transfert aux urgences des hôpitaux. The result is that the number of level 0 events when there's no ambulance available in Ottawa has dropped by 79%. That's a major improvement. Last year's upgrade to the paramedic dispatch system also builds on this progress, ensuring paramedics are available by more effectively triaging urgent and non-urgent calls. The paramedic service also has a mental well-being response team. They've had that for the last 2 years. It's a team that matches a paramedic with a crisis social worker from the Ottawa Hospital to respond to calls. And the data is clear. By responding to cases where vulnerable individuals are struggling with mental health issues, this team helped reduce emergency visits by 35% and hospitalizations by 56%. We want to continue the momentum by hiring 23 new paramedics next year, bringing the total number of paramedic staff hired over this term of council to 141. We've also hired more firefighters over the past 2 years to serve growing communities such as Stittsville and Canada. And the 2026 budget includes more than $3 million to replace critical self-contained breathing devices that keep our firefighters safe on the job. I want to thank Chief Hutt for his leadership and for supporting our city's firefighters who face incredibly challenging conditions to keep our residents safe. In addition to these investments in our core emergency services, we're also investing significantly in other initiatives to make our city and our streets safer. I'm pleased to announce today that in response to requests from tourism operators and small business owners, we will invest $1 million in new funding over 2 years in a pilot project to enhance security in the Byward Market. This pilot project will see private security fill some of the gaps in service hours and at key locations in the market. Ce projet pilote permettra à la sécurité privée de combler certaines lacunes en matière d'heures de service et d'être présente à des endroits clés du marché. We will work closely with the Byward Market District Authority and the tourism industry because we know our investment goes further when we pool our resources and work together on solutions. The budget also moves forward with new traffic calming measures and solutions to improve pedestrian safety at the intersection of Rideau and Sussex and at the underpass there. This area needs to be safer, and we're going to make that happen. And I want to thank Sandy Smallwood and Suzanne Valiquet from the Byward Market District Authority, as well as Sarah Chown and Andrew Peck from the Downtown Rideau BIA for all their work to make this important neighborhood safer. We're also investing in public safety design and smarter infrastructure. For example, the budget includes $500,000 to improve streetlights across the city. And after a successful launch of the Street Seats program along Bank Street last summer, we intend to expand that program into Chinatown in 2026. The feedback we've received has been overwhelmingly positive. Residents tell us this program has brought new life to their streets and neighborhoods. The Public Safety Action Plan makes historic investments in the people who keep our cities safe: police officers, paramedics, and firefighters. Le plan d'action pour la sécurité publique représente des investissements historiques dans les personnes qui veillent à la sécurité de notre ville, nos policiers, nos paramédics, et nos pompiers. And the plan goes beyond traditional emergency response to innovative new programs such as Anchor. Public safety is a top priority for residents, and it's a top priority for me. We all want to live in a city that is safe, affordable, and reliable, a city where an ambulance shows up within minutes of a call, where firefighters have the equipment they need to breathe safely in dangerous conditions, and where police and crisis response teams can work together to both prevent and respond to crime. I hope this plan gives our residents peace of mind, knowing that we're investing significantly and deploying considerable resources toward their priorities, and that we're able to invest without significantly adding to the tax burden because we've done the hard work to find savings and efficiencies at City Hall. Now is not the time to cut back on emergency services. Now is the time to invest in public safety. Once again, I want to thank our first responders and our community leaders for everything they do to improve safety in our community. Let's keep working together to keep our residents safe. Thank you. Merci. And now I'll ask Chief Stubbs to say a few words. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate the opportunity to stand with the Mayor, my colleagues at Fire and Ambulance, and other emergency services, and of course the community partners, to outline the steps we're taking to strengthen public safety here in Ottawa. J'ai apprécié l'occasion de me tenir à côté du maire, de mes collègues de services d'incendie et d'ambulance, ainsi que d'autres services d'urgence et partenaires de notre communauté, pour expliquer les mesures que nous prenons afin de renforcer la sécurité publique ici à Ottawa. As we know, Ottawa continues to grow. More residents, more demands, more density, and pressure on the Ottawa Police Service. We see that managing our vulnerable population in regards to social disorder in the downtown core, from the increase in auto thefts, cybercrime, frauds, intimate partner violence, shoplifting, and of course, mental health calls. Most areas want to see an increase in traffic enforcement in regards to speeding, stunting, and impaired driving. The trend in recent years has both seen our call volumes and our crime rates increasing. So what are we doing about this? With the support of the Mayor, our Police Services Board, and City Hall, we are modernizing the way we serve our citizens in this city. As the Mayor mentioned, the draft budget includes 21 new sworn officers and 4 new special constables. And this follows past investments of 49 new officers and 10 special constables. This year, we are hiring more officers than we ever have for replacement, retirements, etc. 145 sworn officers in 2025. I do want to talk a little bit more about district policing. The Mayor mentioned it a bit. We know that we have to deploy our officers throughout the city, and leads to what is our flagship initiative, the district policing model. This will bring us closer to the community and more localized, tailored responses. Our focus on public safety is simple: faster response times, be more visible, more presence in the community, and targeted action where residents are feeling the most pressure. Notre priorité pour la sécurité publique est simple: des temps de réponse plus rapides, une présence plus visible dans la communauté et des actions spécifiques là où les résidents sont les plus affectés. It assigns officers to specific neighborhoods based on local needs. Phase 1 of the district model began in May 2024, with the full frontline deployment occurring in January 2027. But there are pieces that have been added since we launched it, and that will continue leading up to January 2027. For example, I'm pleased to report that on December 15th, 14 additional police officers will join our neighborhood resource team that will start proactive work in the downtown core. More presence, more problem solving, and quicker support for residents and businesses. These new resources will make a difference on the ground. Also in December, we're establishing dedicated district traffic teams in the East, South, and West districts, improving road safety and reducing collisions where residents have told us it's needed in those specific areas. When the district model is fully implemented, residents can expect more consistent officer presence, stronger community relationships, and better response to persistent issues. But we have other initiatives as well. We're also freeing up frontline officers through smarter staffing. Hiring more special constables allows us to assign them duties that frontline constables are consumed with, like long hospital wait times when we bring mental health clients in to be assessed by a doctor. We can assign them to traffic control, to crime scene security. As well, they can now support our overworked teams in the forensic unit and our fraud section. For residents, that translates to quicker service and better availability when help is needed. A few weeks ago, you saw our body-worn cameras. Our pilot was rolled out. This is a service-wide rollout, will continue in 2026 as well as 2027. These tools support transparency, improve evidence collection, and will help build trust with our residents. The city is investing nearly $188 million in the new South facility in Barrhaven, which will open in 2027. This project will give officers the space, the modern tools, and the operational support they need to respond effectively across Ottawa. The Mayor mentioned a couple of other projects that we have being funded by our province and our federal partners. For example, in the Byward Market, we have our Neighbourhood Operations Centre, we have the Market Safe program, we have dedicated officers that are posted in the Byward Market, we have our mounted unit, our helicopter program, we have our parliamentary precinct that we've opened as well last year. To conclude, we have a lot of work to do. We know that, both working with the community and making sure our teams are effectively deployed throughout the city. But these investments that we're making, that the city is making, will ensure we continue with the projects and the initiatives already underway to strengthen public safety across Ottawa. We remain committed to being visible, responsive, and connected to the communities we serve. Merci, Maire, l'équipe ici à la Hôtel de Ville, et notre conseil de police pour leur soutien. I'll now invite the Chief of Ottawa Paramedics, Pierre Poilievre, to make a few remarks. Pierre.
Bonjour, good morning. Thank you, Chief Stubbs, and thank you, Mayor Sutcliffe. Le service paramédic est honoré d'avoir le soutien de notre maire puis le conseil. Depuis 2023, l'investissement du maire puis du conseil était impressif. Over the last term of council, the mayor and council have invested significantly in our Ottawa paramedic service. If we go back 4 years, 4 years, you'll know that offload delays were horrendous, level zeros were horrendous, and really what was happening was that this is a matter of health and public safety. Public safety and health are linked. And through the investment with council and through our mayor, 141 staff have been added to the Ottawa Paramedic Service. In 2026, we'll be adding 23 new staff to the Ottawa Paramedic Service. The result has been significant. Level zeros have diminished significantly. And again, in 2025, you'll see that the numbers again have reduced once again. Offload delay has almost disappeared. We've been able to work with the hospitals and create a significant reduction in the time that we spend at the hospital, which has a significant positive effect on our community where the paramedic crew is available to respond to that next call for service. So that has also been significant. And then when we look at the community in a broader sense, nobody should die in the community needlessly. The paramedic service has invested in a mental well-being response team, as the mayor noted, that assigns a paramedic uniquely to the Byward Market to ensure that people don't die needlessly. This program has been significant in terms of the return where people have been appreciative of the service we provided to our community. We've recognized that it isn't just Byward, but Centertown. So last year, we incorporated Centertown into that project as well, where there's a paramedic assigned to Centertown. Both of these programs have really improved our service to our community. And when we think of the broader community, it extends beyond the core of the city. It also includes our rural communities. And in 2025, we assigned paramedic crews to Kinburn, Richmond, and Metcalfe to assign those communities that they ensure that they receive the service that they deserve as well as part of the broader City of Ottawa. So once again, I'd just like to thank the mayor for his support, the support from council, and we'll continue to do good work. I'd like to now turn over the mic to Chief Paul Hutt.
Thank you, Chief. Mayor, thank you very much for this opportunity. The Ottawa Fire Service stands strong with all community partners when it comes to public safety, so it is an honor for me, on behalf of the Ottawa Fire Service, to say a few words. This 2026 budget for Ottawa Fire Service is very important when it comes to critical equipment. When we talk about a $3.6 million investment on self-contained breathing apparatus, it's those apparatus that you'll see on firefighters when they go into fires or smoke-filled environments. It keeps them safe. As a result of that, it's probably the most vital piece of our equipment. And to keep in mind, this project is more than just $3.6 million. It's a total investment of $8 million to keep our members safe, to keep our community safe. When we talk about strengthening operational capacity, if you look back this term of council, the mayor mentioned there's a huge investment from a resourcing perspective. We see growth and intensification all across our city, which is wonderful. But with that, we also have to be prepared as well. Canada North opened up. There's an additional 12 firefighters that were assigned to that area. In addition to Stittsville, with the growth and intensification in Stittsville area, there was an addition of 22 firefighters. Now I'll look forward as part of Council's commitment and investment as part of our station location study. For the next 5 years, you're going to see planning and development within the Manotick area for moving from a rural response standard to an urban response standard. And 10 years from now, you'll see in the Greeley area, very similar, where we're going to move from a rural response response to an urban response. And that can only be done with the support of council and the mayor. So these investments will ensure that we maintain our response standards, that we're serving the community with efficiency and effectiveness. And with that, in closing, I do just want to support and thank all the community partners, because it's just not fire, police, and paramedics. This is a community involvement for public safety, so I do want to thank all our community partners. Just in closing, I would like to now introduce Susan to come up. She is the CAO of the Somerset West Community Health Center. Thanks, Susan.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Mayor. It's an absolute pleasure to be here this morning alongside not only the chiefs of all of the emergency responders, but also my esteemed colleagues, the CEO of Centretown Community Health Center, Michelle Hertzubis, and the Executive Director of Community Navigation Eastern Ontario, John Hoyles. 1 year ago, Ottawa launched its first 24/7 community-led mobile crisis response in West Centretown, a service that is culturally responsive and built on the principles of equity. In our first year, Anchor received 4,464 calls, with nearly 1,900 of those calls dispatched directly to crisis response workers. Our workers met individuals in every sort of Ottawa weather, on street corners, in apartment buildings, at parks, in houses, at drop-ins, coffee shops, gas stations, and more, de-escalating the crisis, connecting individuals to services, and aiming to stop the cycle of crisis by following up afterwards. Residents in West Centretown are calling 211 and using the service when they see someone in a mental health or substance use crisis. And they are calling 211 because they trust us. This speaks to the strong reputation the program has built in the last year. It speaks to the community's recognition of its impact and the clear need and potential for broader citywide reach that offers a health-focused alternative when facing mental health and substance-related crises. And perhaps one of the most important indicators of success, as the mayor alluded to, was the 93% of the dispatch calls were resolved by our highly skilled and highly trained crisis response workers. Anchor has already received multiple requests for expansion beyond Somerset West and the Centretown areas. And we appreciate the city's leadership and recent investment of $700,000 to support Anchor's expansion in a new neighborhood, increasing access for more residents in Ottawa. This is an important step toward building an integrated citywide approach to community-led crisis response. Not only do these investments allow Anchor to continue aligning with our shared goals for public health and community safety, these investments also contribute to our shared vision, a modern public safety response that includes city systems such as fire, paramedics, and police, along with community-based programs, all working to address some of the most pressing social and mental health challenges facing Ottawa residents. Such a system can change the course of a life and strengthen families and neighborhoods and communities. This shows real promise for neighborhoods across the City of Ottawa, and we are so pleased to work in collaboration with the City of Ottawa and our many community partners, including the Ottawa Guiding Council for Mental Health and Addictions, to best meet the needs of mental health and substance use crisis in Ottawa. Thank you.
I will now invite each agency in alphabetical order to ask questions. You may ask one question with one follow-up. Par ordre alphabétique, j'invite maintenant chaque organisme à poser une question et une question de suivi. We'll now start with, nous allons commencer par Arthur White-Crummy at CBC.
Good morning.
Good morning. First question will be for the mayor. Most, if not all of these measures were already announced in the budget. So I'm just curious about why we're repackaging them today. It kind of feels like a political or campaign style event saying that you've responded to the concerns that you heard about in 2022. And I'm just wondering, is that fair to your opponents when they won't have the opportunity to stand in front of the three chiefs with this kind of gravitas?
Look, public safety is a huge concern for our residents. When I'm out in the community, they talk to me about it all the time. So any opportunity I get to talk about public safety and what we're doing to invest in public safety, I'm going to highlight the investments we're making. And there are a couple of things we're announcing today that are not explicitly detailed in the budget, including the $1 million over 2 years for security in the Byward Market. I want to highlight those investments. But when people look at the budget, there's a lot of numbers. It's a big document. They're not necessarily looking at it thematically and understanding what it's going to mean, what the impact is going to be on their daily lives. I will continue to share as much information as I can with the residents of Ottawa about how hard we are working and how effectively we are working together to deliver results in the areas that they care about. And that's what today is all about. I wanted to emphasize the great work that's being done by members of the community organizations that are represented here today, and the emergency service leadership that we have here today, to emphasize that we're all working together to resolve some of the issues that are raised with me on a daily basis by residents and small business owners in our community. Public safety is one of their top priorities, and I want them to know it's one of my top priorities as well. Oui. Alors, c'est important de souligner que la sécurité publique, c'est une priorité très importante pour les résidents d'Ottawa. C'est une priorité très importante pour moi. Alors, si j'ai l'occasion de parler au sujet de la sécurité publique et à toutes les mesures qui sont dans le budget de 2026 et toutes les autres mesures aussi pour assurer que nos résidents sont sécuritaires à leur maison, dans leur communauté. Chaque fois que j'ai l'occasion de parler de ça, je vais le prendre parce que c'est une priorité, c'est quelque chose que les résidents lèvent avec moi chaque jour à Ottawa. Alors, je veux parler avec les résidents, je veux assurer que les résidents d'Ottawa sachent que nous travaillons ensemble pour répondre à les défis auxquels nous faisons face et que nous avons un plan.
This will be for Chief Stubbs. In previous police board meetings when we've talked about finances, you suggested that the investments in this budget might not be enough for you to hire the amount of officers that you think you need. Do you see anything new in this public safety action plan that makes you feel like that makes you feel like it's ambitious enough to keep up with Ottawa's public safety needs?
Yeah, I've talked a lot about, the investments that we need in policing, and this is a result, I think, of a number of years of just not making sure that we're keeping pace with the growth and the complexities of the work of policing in such a large city and growing city. And we have been pressing our police board. Our police board is the one that we answer to in regards to it's their budget that we spend. So we feed into that information. We give them the information, and they approve a budget. This budget, obviously, as the mayor mentioned, is a large increase, one of the largest increases that we've ever had. We know that more investment is needed, and the mayor mentioned in his remarks that starting in the new year, we have a committee that is being formed at City Hall, our police board, of course with us as well too, to look at a future forecasting of budget of a policing budget that will be sustainable in future years. And that's really something that I'm looking forward to. I think it's something that's needed, and it's going to be hard work, but when we do that work and we see we had that cost certainty going forward for a number of years, that this is what policing is going to cost, that makes me very optimistic that we'll get to a level that we can really deliver for this community.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will now go to CTV's Leah Larocque.
My first question, I guess the Mayor or Chief Stubbs can answer this. Just hoping you can expand on that $1 million for private security in the Byward market. When, where, how will we see it? And I'm just curious also why we need it if we just have a new police station that was just brought to the Byward market. Give me 1 second.
Sure.
And I would like also the answer.
Sure. Pas de problème. Where do you want me to look? Do you want me to look at you? Yeah. So we'll have more details in the coming months, but it's a 2-year pilot project, $500,000 in each of the next 2 years to supplement what's already happening in the market with private security, and we want to work with our partners at the Byward Market District Authority and some of the private businesses in the market that also use private security, because if there's the potential for us to pool our resources and have more effective results, more effective work being done and better results. Because, there are a lot of people investing in security in the market right now, so we can work together and get better results. We know that there are multiple different responses that are required, that the needs are growing. We hear from residents and small business owners in the market all the time about their concerns, and we want to show that there's a commitment to resolving the issues and making everyone in the Byward market feel safe. I feel very encouraged by the fact that more and more people are going to the Byward market. Lots of good things are happening. New businesses and restaurants are opening. Sometime in the next 6 or 7 months, we're going to see the opening of History Ottawa, a new concert space in the Byward market. That's going to bring potentially 150,000 people a year to the Byward market who will eat in restaurants and go out to bars afterwards. So lots of positive things are happening, but people want to see enhanced security to make everyone feel safe, including residents, small business owners, and employees. Et puis en français, nous aurons les détails à l'avenir proche, mais c'est un projet pilote pour investir $500 000 chaque année pour les prochaines 2 années. Dans la sécurité privée au marché bail, nous avons entendu des résidents et des propriétaires de petites entreprises au marché bail qu'il y a des enjeux et que nous devons avoir plus de ressources. Et il y a beaucoup de choses qui se passent au marché bail, beaucoup de choses positives comme les nouveaux restaurants. Il y aura le History Ottawa à l'avenir proche, nouveau salle de concert. Et nous sommes heureux à ces développements, mais nous savons qu'il y a un besoin des ressources pour la sécurité, pour que chaque résident, chaque propriétaire de petites entreprises, chaque employé est sauf et que le marché bail est sécuritaire. Alors, nous investissons pour avoir les meilleurs résultats. Oui?
I'm also wondering how addressing homelessness and drug use in the Byward Market will be incorporated into this public safety plan.
So as you know, we are working very, very closely with our partners at community organizations. We're building more and more supportive housing. We are doing everything we can to care for people who are suffering from mental health issues and the toxic drug crisis. You heard about some of the things that we're talking about, including expanding Anchor into another neighborhood in the future. We'll have more details about that. And we have our pledge to end youth homelessness by 2030, and we're working very, very closely with our community partners on delivering on that. So we need more resources, we need more supportive housing, more transitional housing, we need more resources for young people. We need the support of other levels of government as well, because this is a public health and healthcare issue, not just a community services issue. So we're counting on other levels of government to support us in these efforts. But we are doing everything we can to respond to the homelessness crisis, the opioid crisis, the mental health crisis as a community.
Thank you. On va maintenant à Sébastien Pierre-Rose avec le droit.
Bonjour, Monsieur le maire. Juste pour une clarification, on parle de sécurité privée, mais qu'est-ce que c'est? Est-ce que vous pouvez clarifier la sécurité privée? Qu'est-ce que c'est en fait?
C'est une entreprise avec des ressources pour aider les petites entreprises, pour aider les résidents au marché bail. Nous savons que les entreprises maintenant investissent beaucoup d'argent dans la sécurité pour leurs entreprises, pour les hôtels, les restaurants. Alors, nous voulons avoir des fonds supplémentaires et peut-être il y a l'opportunité de travailler avec les entreprises, avec l'équipe au marché bail pour améliorer la sécurité ensemble. Alors, si nous travaillons ensemble, si nous avons des ressources que nous partageons, les résultats seront mieux.
Dans le budget, vous aviez dit que c'était une augmentation de 6,7% de la police et de 26 millions. Est-ce qu'avec les annonces aujourd'hui, il y a une nouvelle hausse ou ce sont exactement les mêmes chiffres qui ont été annoncés le 19 novembre?
C'est les mêmes chiffres pour le budget de la police. C'est une augmentation pour les taxes foncières de 5% et des autres ressources. Alors, c'est une augmentation de 6,5% pour la police dans
Merci
le budget.
beaucoup.
Merci.
Merci. On va maintenant à Nelly Alborella à Radio-Canada.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. Actually, I have a question for the... In French or in English?
Essayez en anglais, s'il vous plaît. Peut-être
okay.
essayez en français.
On peut essayer. Okay. Je suis assez curieuse de savoir ce que vous pensez justement de faire appel à cette sécurité privée. What do you think about this, having...
When it comes to, we'll just talk about the Byward Market. When it comes to security in the community, tourists, the businesses, the residents, the users feeling safe in the Byward Market, this requires not just the police to ensure that. We're a big player there. It's a lane that we have to fill. But, working with the BIA, working with the health centers, working with private security, working with the business owners, working with City Hall and their programs that they have, that's what's going to get it done down there. And private security is a big industry right now in shopping centers, at the Rideau Mall. I was just speaking with the general manager last night, as a matter of fact, at an event. They spend a lot of money on private security. So to increase it is okay. We're good with that. But we also know, and what I hear from the folks in Centertown, the folks in Byward Market, in Barrhaven, they want more presence. They want more police presence as well, too. So we're not absconding from Byward Market and say, great, they got that, we can go elsewhere. As I said in my remarks, we are adding an additional 14 officers into the downtown core to specifically doing proactive work to increase safety in Centertown, in the Byward Market. So there's different layers that will equate to it's safer in the Byward Market, it's safer in the downtown core, and this private security will add to that.
Thank you.
Okay. Merci.
Do you speak French? I try to have everyone in French. I'm sorry about that. Bonjour, je voulais juste voir si vous pouviez nous expliquer un petit peu en français ce que ça signifie d'avoir ce financement supplémentaire pour Somerset West.
Je veux juste le clarifier que l'augmentation, c'est entre le programme de 3 centres, puis c'est très important. On a besoin des options dans nos villes, dans la ville. Puis, qu'est-ce qu'on voit ici, c'est un investissement d'augmenter, d'améliorer l'accès à des programmes communautaires. Et je crois que c'est quelque chose que les résidents demandent, qu'ils ont besoin. Et je pense que c'est un bon départ. Je ne sais pas si vous voulez ajouter quelque chose.
Oui, juste d'expliquer, quand vous dites programme communautaire, ce sera quoi exactement? Dans quoi vous allez investir?
Présentement, on a un programme qui peut répondre à les crises 24 heures sur 7 dans le quartier de West Centertown. Alors, ces investissements donnent une chance à un autre quartier dans la ville d'avoir le même accès à le programme 24 heures sur 7. C'est une réponse qui vient des employés qui sont engagés dans la communauté. Ils sont capables de répondre à les crises, ils sont capables de connecter les gens à des autres ressources et de faire du counseling, assurer que s'il y a des besoins, qu'on peut prévenir des autres crises, qu'on essaie de faciliter, de donner ces supports-là.
Merci. On va maintenant à Kimilia La Liberté avec TVA.
Une question pour le maire Sutcliffe. On apprenait hier dans un rapport que Ottawa se classe parmi le plus haut taux d'homicide au pays. Je voulais avoir un petit peu votre réaction là-dessus.
C'est quel rapport? Je n'ai pas-
C'est sorti hier. C'est une très bonne question. Statistique Canada qui a sorti ça.
Et je
Vous
n'ai
l'avez,
pas vu
OK.
oui.
Parfait. Il
Oui.
n'y a pas de problème.
Peut-être que je peux vous
et-
donner une réponse plus tard. Oui.
Parfait, il n'y a pas de problème. Aussi, ma collègue vous a demandé en anglais par rapport à l'itinérance, à l'accès aux drogues et tout ça, comment vous comptez peut-être réduire ça?
C'est un enjeu très, très difficile et nous parlons souvent ici à l'Hôtel de Ville et avec nos partenaires des autres niveaux de gouvernement. Nous devons avoir des investissements des autres niveaux de gouvernement et nous devons faire notre part. Nous travaillons en collaboration avec nos partenaires communautaires pour bâtir plus de logements avec les appuis, plus de logements transitionnels. Nous avons beaucoup de ressources dans le marché bail, au centre-ville et dans les autres quartiers de la ville. Alors, nous faisons tout ce que nous pouvons faire et nous augmentons le budget chaque année. Nous augmentons les ressources pour réduire l'itinérance et aussi, j'ai un engagement maintenant de mettre fin à l'itinérance chez les jeunes d'ici 2030 et nous travaillons avec nos partenaires pour investir dans les solutions pour atteindre cet objectif.
Si on sort du rapport, il y a eu 27 homicides en 2024. C'est ce qui était dévoilé. Qu'est-ce que ça vous fait d'apprendre ça en tant que maire?
Je suis toujours désolé d'entendre ces chiffres. Chaque fois qu'il y a une crise comme ça dans notre communauté, c'est vraiment triste, c'est tragique et nous devons faire tout ce que nous pouvons faire pour trouver des solutions. Ce n'est pas facile, c'est toujours difficile, mais nous augmentons nos investissements, nous augmentons les ressources et nous travaillons en collaboration avec la communauté.
Merci.
Merci. We'll now go to Melissa Moore at the Capital Current.
Morning.
Thank you. So my question is there enough funding allocated towards people who are facing mental health and addictions? Is there enough outreach for them beyond just police?
I think it's clear this is not just a policing solution. That's not the way we look at things. The community services budget at the City of Ottawa is in the hundreds of millions of dollars, and it's more than it's ever been before. We're investing more money in food security. We're investing more money in supporting people who are suffering from mental illness, from the toxic drug crisis. We're investing more than ever before in affordable housing. Another example, which is, in part answers the questions I've been asked already. This term of council, we're investing $105 million in affordable housing compared to $45 million in the previous term of council. So we're investing in solutions. But it's very, very challenging because the problem is growing rapidly, and it is a public health crisis, a healthcare crisis, and we need the support of other levels of government in addition to what we're doing.
And one more question. Other people mentioned that the fact that there's a new location at Rideau for the police, has that location been successful on cutting down on crime?
I'll let the chief speak to what the data might be, but I've heard a lot of very positive feedback from residents and business owners in the Byward market that there is now, there are more police resources in the market, along with other resources as well, community outreach workers and others. And they see a difference in the last year and a half. And I think the results that I look at are more people are going to the Byward market. So if they're going there, they are excited about the Byward market, they feel safe there, they want to be there. But I'll let the chief speak to the specific crime numbers, but I think the presence of a neighborhood operations center that has been serving the Byward market has been very positive. Did you want to say anything?
Sure, I can a little bit. When it comes to crime rates and numbers, there's a lot that that feeds into a particular number, whether it goes up or down. And, the Neighborhood Operations Center, of course, it's not public facing. The public doesn't go in there to report crime, but it's a place where our team is going and deploying from, so they're closer to where they need to be. But most importantly, it's a place where we are bringing a lot of our community partners into to meet. For example, our integrated community safety table. We have over 30 nonprofits, social service agencies that come in and talk about some of the people that need help. How can we guide them on a more positive path instead of enforcement? So that type of program is working out of the Neighborhood Operations Center. And that helps. That helps the community. That helps those individuals that are struggling there. But we have a number of other police-related programs, as well as everything that a lot of the community partners are doing, are adding to that safety as well too. So to attribute crime going up or down because of the Neighborhood Operations Center would be short-sighted, but it certainly is a factor.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we have time for one final question from CTV's Leah LaRocque.
I'm going to squeeze it in on behalf of a few of us. The private security, I just want to ask how that actually is going to work, because people who are being hired to do private security don't have the same sort of training as police officers to respond to some issues. So how is it actually going to make the community safer? And if I could get maybe the mayor and
Sure. So look, I'll say a couple things about that. Number one, and I think Chief Stubbs will agree with me on this. The police are responsible for so much in our community. They're pulled in many different directions. And policing is not always the solution that's needed in a particular situation. People need to feel a presence, and it doesn't always have to be a police officer. There can be other people who are providing security, who are making sure that that residents and business owners and their employees are safe. It doesn't always have to be a police officer, and that's not always the most efficient or effective solution. And as I said before, there's already a lot of private security happening in the Byward market. Hotels, businesses are hiring private security in order to serve their customers and their clients. So what we're talking about is supplementing that through the partnership with the Byward Market District Authority and having more resources available to do that, in partnership with and complementary to what the police are doing. So the police will work with whatever resources are there. Those resources will work with the police, and they'll divide up the work and make sure that we're doing everything we can to make the Byward market safe for everyone. Okay.
All right, this concludes today's media availability. Ceci conclut le point de presse d'aujourd'hui. Thank you. Merci.
Merci.